U.S. Route 27 runs south to north through the U.S. state of Georgia near its western border with Alabama. The whole route is Governor's Road Improvement Program Corridor EDS 27, providing the bulk of the Tallahassee, Florida, Chattanooga, Tennessee corridor. All of U.S. 27 in Georgia is designated State Route 1 and is also designated as the Martha Berry Highway. Route description: the route starts at the Florida-Georgia state line, where Decatur and Grady counties meet, and where U.S. 27 continues south into Florida. U.S. 27 heads northwest through rural southwestern Georgia, crossing into Decatur County as a 4-lane divided highway, and skirts Attapulgis to the east on its way to Bainbridge. South of Bainbridge, U.S. 27 meets with and overlaps U.S. 84, and forms a controlled access perimeter highway around the southern and western portion of the city, before splitting from U.S. 84 and heading northwest into Miller County and through Colquitt into Early County and Blakely, which it skirts to the east. Now heading north, the route passes through Bluffton in Clay County, then reaches Cuthbert in Randolph County, again skirting the town to its east. U.S. 27 reaches Lumpkin in Stewart County as its next destination, which it skirts to the west. Still heading north, the route reaches Custer in Chattahoochee County, where it overlaps and is co-signed with US 280 and State Route 520 into Columbus, Indiana, Muskogee County. The routes head northwest into Columbus, cross I-185, and US 27 splits from US 280 just before reaching the Alabama state line, and heads north through downtown Columbus, crossing I-185 once again, just before also crossing US 80 on its way into Harris County. US 27 roughly parallels I-185 on its trek north through Harris County, and crosses I-185 once more shortly after crossing into Troup County, where it also crosses I-85 just south of LaGrange. The route continues north, passes through Heard County, and heads through the heart of Carrollton in Carroll County. Angling northwest, the route crosses I-20 south of Bremen, and makes its way in a northerly direction through Haralson County into Polk County, where it skirts Cedartown to its east. Entering Floyd County, US 27 makes its way through the center of Rome, then angles west into Chattanooga County and Somerville. Turning sharply north again in Somerville, the route passes through Lafayette, Indiana, Walker County. At this point, US 27 becomes Lafayette Road and then passes back and forth twice between Walker County and Catoosa County, before meeting its northern terminus at the Tennessee state line in Fort Oglethorpe. History. Main route. During the American Civil War, the dirt Lafayette Road was fought over by the Confederate Army of Tennessee and the Federal Army of the Cumberland during the Battle of Chickamauga on September 19 and 20, 1863. The Federal troops defended the road from the west while the Confederates attacked from the east. In early 1864, James B. McPherson's Federal troops marched southward on the road from Rossville to Rock Spring during the Atlanta campaign. The designation of US 27 in Georgia does not appear on Georgia state highway maps until early in 1935. Prior to 1935, the route as it runs today is signed as just State Route 1, and appears to have been largely unchanged since around 1920. Available maps prior to 1920 show only the railroad line running roughly parallel to US 27, which is still extant and marked today as a CSX transportation line. In 1926, a majority of the route did not yet feature completed hard road surface but was either unimproved but maintained, or consisted of sand, clay, or topsoil road surface. Exceptions in 1926 included the immediate areas around Blakely, Columbus, Rome, and north of Fort Oglethorpe. By late in 1932, hard surface improvements had been made to include an additional portion of the route north of Blakely, a short stretch north of Lumpkin, the entire stretch of US 27 from Cusseta through Columbus to Chipley, a short portion south of LaGrange, a larger section north of Rome, and the entire stretch of the route from south of Lafayette to the Tennessee state line. By late in 1936, only two longer stretches of the route, from north of Blakely through Cuthbert to Lumpkin, and between LaGrange and Bremen, plus several shorter sections remained either unimproved, or were graded and surfaced with sand, clay, or topsoil only. More than one-third of US 27 featured hard road surface conditions. Between 1936 and 1940 saw more significant improvements made, to where more than 90% of US 27 was covered by hard road surface material by October 1940. Only a portion of US 27 south of Lumpkin, a short stretch just south of Cusseta, and a portion north of Carrollton did not yet feature hard surface. By July 1941, only a few miles of US 27 south of and into Cusseta remained to be covered by hard surface. However, it was 1944 when the hard surfacing of the entirety of US 27 was completed. In 1950, Georgia highway maps first show a portion of US 27 as a divided highway, where a stretch of the route from north of Cusseta to Columbus is marked as such. In 1963 and 1966, the next small portions of US 27 appear as divided highway, north of Fort Oglethorpe to Tennessee and south of and into Carrollton. In addition, the existing stretch south of Columbus was extended to reach Cusseta, Rome. As US 27 approaches Rome, the current route meets with Cave Spring Road, which then runs parallel to and north along with US 27 to just south of the Etowah River in Rome. On 1966 Georgia highway maps, US 27 was concurrent with Cave Spring Road to the current terminus of Cave Spring Road at East 12th Street. US 27 then curved northwest, then north on what is today East Main Street and became concurrent with what is today East Broad Street, to East 2nd Avenue, which it was concurrent with on its way northwest to the intersection with State Route 20, north of which it picks up its present path north out of Rome. Starting in 1967, the current route is shown as being under construction, and by 1969 the current route was in operation. Bannered routes. The designation of US 27 Alt does not appear until 1950. At the time, the entirety of the route as it is signed today appears on Georgia highway maps, running from Columbus to Carrollton. From 1948, maps of the Columbus area show a spur of State Route 1 running parallel to US 27, State Route 1 on Cusseta Road, south of Buena Vista Road, which was signed as State Route 103 at the time. That designation is not longer in place. In 1950, that spur was redirected to split from Cusseta Road and run north on Brown Avenue, to terminate into State Route 103, Buena Vista Road. In 1966, the State Route 1 spur designation is replaced by a designation of State Route 103 spur for the same road portion. By 1984-1985, the entire designation of this route had been removed. The designation of US 27 bus, State Route 1 bus, and the loop of the main route route of US 27 to the west of Bainbridge first appears in 1966. The bypass of US 27 to the east around Lafayette, and the designation of the former main route of US 27 as US 27 bus, appears around 1992–1993 on Georgia highway maps. The bypass of US 27 to the east around Cedartown, and to the west around Bremen, and the designation of the former main route of US 27 as US 27 bus, appears in both cases around 1992–1993. The bypass of US 27 to the east around Blakely and Cuthbert, and the designation of the former main route of US 27 as US 27 bus, appears in both cases around 1996–1997. Georgia road designations. In 1935, the General Assembly of the State of Georgia designated the portion of US 27, State Route 1 from Columbus to its northern terminus as Tennessee-Columbus Military Highway. In 1941, the General Assembly of the State of Georgia designated the portion of US 27, State Route 1 from its southern terminus to Colquitt as DeSoto Trail Highway. In 1952, the General Assembly of the State of Georgia designated the entirety of US 27 bus, State Route 1 as Martha Berry Highway, honoring a pioneer in education. In 1992, the General Assembly of the State of Georgia designated the portion of US 27 bus, State Route 1 from the Chattahoochee-Muskogee County line to its intersection with I-185 as Robert B. Nett Medal of Honor Highway, honoring a hero of World War II. In 1993, the General Assembly of the State of Georgia designated the US 27 bus, State Route 1 bus bypass through Cedartown as Sybil W. Brannan Parkway, honoring a prominent Cedartown resident. In 1994, the General Assembly of the State of Georgia designated the portion of the US 27 bus, State Route 1 between Somerville and Tryon in Chattanooga County as Ralph Country Brown Highway designation, honoring a prominent Chattanooga resident and baseball player. In 2000, the General Assembly of the State of Georgia designated the US 27 bus, State Route 1 bus bypass through Cuthbert as Gerald Green Bypass, honoring a prominent resident of Georgia and member of the Georgia legislature. In 2011, the General Assembly of the State of Georgia designated the entirety of US 27 bus, State Route 1 as Scenic Hometown Highway, for tourism enhancement purposes. Also in 2011, with the same designation, the portion of US 27, State Route 1 between Shields Crossing was designated as Roy Parish Parkway, honoring a prominent resident of Walker County. Major intersections.